After you mentioned the intro and the familiarities, once you got into the song, I didn't hear a whole lot more Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it was, and I didn't hear him sounding like Robert Plant either. He
Not in
sounded
this
like
one,
Geddy
no.
Lee from Rush.
Yeah, a little bit. I got that. But he's got some. I mean, it's throaty. You know, just a really good. You know, octone. I guess. What's the word? What am I trying to say?
Timber.
Could be. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, no, like you said, it came in like that. But they got their own thing on it. It's a well-written song for sure. It's
There's a lot of levels to it.
There's so many levels. It's really good. That's a Stairway to Heaven song. I mean, that's just that epic. All right.
So many different parts, so many different
Well, hit play.
layers. It already is.
Oh, you're okay.
It already is.
Yeah. I mean, it's an epic song. All right, so this is what I got. I had to start writing this stuff down because there was so much into the song that I got. So in the beginning, you got this Native American chant, right? So that's kind of where you start from. And then it goes into a mid-America, Easy Rider kind of tone music, right? You kind of build up to that. That's what I got. And then, but the song itself is how this generation's growing up, you know, and how they feel robbed and how they feel cheated and how, you know, just they've been robbed of everything that we got to experience. And so the lyrics in the song itself is about today's generation, how they're growing up, and just as music was back then. And then it goes into this futuristic tone where it's clean and crisp and boom, 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 regiment. That's what I got. So that's what I heard.
Well, I think we're going to be on the same line for a couple of those points. I mean, it's definitely a lot to the song. It's AC/DC. It is not.
No, or Zepp, or I mean, it's its own right. I think.
And that's not a bad. Yeah, exactly. I'm not trying to say anything bad about it. I was actually trying to say that there's a lot of complexity there.
Very.
So
Absolutely.
That guitar player is really good. But I am hearing similarities to other things, but I don't know if that's because that's what I'm trying to hear,
Probably.
or if it's actually there. If that makes any sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense because I was thinking, I hear what I want to hear in some of these prior to, but now it's taken on its own self, its own beast, its own, you know, its own tone. You know what I mean? So now when you hear Greta Van Fleet, you think of Greta Van Fleet. You don't think of anybody else. That's what I was getting to that point. And so maybe up to this point, like you said, I had my premonition what I think this band should sound like, and it's totally took its turn to where it's their own sound. Wow. Yeah, that was the song.
I think that's the first time their song ended when I thought it was going to.
Right?
Alright, that's actually the end of side B.
It wasn't my favorite, but I mean, it was a really good song. It was very, I mean, it's its own song. I liked it, but he was a little scratchy.
There's times when his voice hits, and there's times when it's like, what is he doing?
Yeah, he was a little high. Yeah, I don't know. It just, like I said, I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. But it was a good song in itself. It was, you know, had different levels. So.
Do you remember back in the day when we would listen to albums from start to finish, and there'd be songs where we're like, okay, that's the next one. We're gonna let it play.
Yeah, that's one of those. You're right. Yeah, there'll be no. You're right. This is the way albums used to be, to kind of build up and
True.
You know, just 24 or 12 songs. I mean, still, they're long. You know what I mean?
Well,
They're good.
The production, and what I mean by that is how they're layering the instruments, because it comes in with guitar has a great riff on something, and then they'll come in with some keyboards to kind of complement that, and then it ends up coming into, from the part that they're playing, straight into another part, and by the time the song is done, it's probably got 15 different parts to the song.
Right.
And probably 6 or 7 different instruments playing at a time.
Yeah. Layered, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. It's a huge production, and it's very well set out, done very nicely. Wow, another humongous production.
Definitely.
I mean, oh, it's good.
I really didn't care much from that one. The riff towards the end was kind of good, and I wrote down pedal board because I would love to peek at his pedal board and see what he's got going for the sound on those little riffs.
Yeah.
And that's not one of my personal faves.
Well, I had a whole chorus. You know, how many people were in the chorus? 50, 60?
I don't know.
I mean, that's like I said, it was a production. It was, I don't know, it was over the top a little bit, maybe. But,
it just wasn't for me.
yeah.
But then again, I'm not the demographic for everything. So.
Yeah, you listen to death metal, that's all right. We still love you.
It's true, I do.
It's all good, buddy.
There's good music everywhere, you just gotta find it. Except that song.
Dang!
I'm kidding, ha!
Alright, so he is a poet with a band. I mean, he's a great poet. I mean, that was a story. It was a great story. That's why I wrote, a poet with a band. It reminded me of Lewis because Lewis would say, because he was a great poet too, and that's why he said, you put music to your poetry, this is what I would love to do forever, you know, and that's what Lewis said. And so this is that type of music. It is a poetry with a great song behind it. It's like a story. It could be a movie, you know, and nothing wrong with it. That was a movie, kind of, you know, tribute to. It was just a great. It was a great poem with great music behind it. I mean, that's what I got. It was very well. That's all. I didn't think about anything else except for he put me into a picturesque place, which was nice.
Dude, this is my favorite song they've done. This was really good.
This was a great song.
This was really good. The guitar sounded great. This is the best he has sung on the whole album. I mean, you could tell that whatever he was singing, he meant it.
He meant it, all of it, yeah.
And
I think he wrote this song. Maybe we're going to find out. I bet he did.
I bet he did. I bet he did. And the bass had a solo.
Right?
It sounded good.
That's right.
But yeah, this is probably my favorite song out of the 2 albums so far.
Nice.
I really like that.
Tammy?
It reminded me of one of those songs that you see him playing in a movie while the girl's driving around because her boyfriend just broke up with her and she's screaming and crying. But I liked it, yes.
I didn't get that part. I got the part where they came back together. I'm an optimist. But I got the movie part. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright, so coming from that last song to that song, that was like, alright, we are a rock and roll band, right? And we are, you know, not just a poet with a band, we are a rock and roll band. So he comes out with just this nice just groove, and then they just went, oh yeah, forgot we were an epic band. And then it comes back and ties it back all in. I mean, that's how it went, and they came back down. It was just like, oh yeah, this is who we are, you know. And then I got a point to where they were just having a good time, you know, enjoying that rhythm and that riff, and it was just like, that's why we're here doing what we're doing. That's what I got from that.
Totally. I think we're on the same page here again. I broke down because the production and all the other songs up to this point have been there's keyboard, there's organ, there's all this other stuff, there's layered guitars, there's layered.
But they did sneak up a couple things in there.
Let's see.
I was very pleased with that one.
Oh yeah, and the riff just kept building. It wasn't just
Yep.
It started out with a part of the riff, and they would build on top of that, and then build on top of that. But it kept the song flowing.
Right.
It didn't get sketchy. It didn't
Yeah,
get
there was.
choppy.
You're exactly right. And then they built up to it, and then they came back down too at the end, and they drew you back into that. That was a very good, well done song. I like that one a lot.
And I think I realized something in that song as to why he's getting compared to Plant so much. Besides the fact that he has such a high register.
Right.
Okay. And I'm sure he probably could sound like him if he wanted to, but it's because he does the voice dance in his songs. It's like there's a call and answer with the guitar and the vocals. Plant and Page used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
And I see that as a good thing.
Absolutely.
I see that as a totally good thing.
But then you also see where the bass and the drums are working off of each other as well too, just as JP and John Bonham.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
I mean, I think that just their chemistry as a band is as ish. I think that was a very good song. As you like that one, the last one, this one was my favorite so far.
It was a really good riffage. I like that a lot. I would not skip that one.
I'd come back to that. I think I would start with that one. Are we? Yeah, why not?
Sure. Sorry, Robin. That's fine.
My brothers that can't be with us. Say, hang on.
They don't end when you think
did.
they, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Go back straight on.
Go ahead.
Alright. This time, I did see a whole lot of Plant similarities, but I'm wondering, again, is it because I'm looking for them? Is
Could
it
be.
because that's what I'm associating with?
Yep.
Because the name of the song is Barbarians, right?
Mhm.
And automatically, I'm thinking Valkyrie. I'm thinking
Right.
immigrant song, right?
That was good.
So.
Are they going in here?
I mean, I was there. I felt it. I was 1975. I was there. Stateside. Anyway.
But that's the most I think he sounded on this whole double album of Plant.
Right.
And I don't see that as a bad thing because I
No.
love that sound. To me, well, obviously I don't have to explain this to you. This is our childhood. This is what we
This is
grew
what
up
we-
with. This
yeah.
is what we relate with the most. I don't want to do this dude a disservice by saying he's just a rubber plant clone.
I don't think so.
Just because that's what I'm hearing.
But that's one song out of many. So now you see why he's getting the shit. Why he's getting it. So now we know where part of that's coming from. But up to this point, we figured out, a lot of the similarities and a lot of the good and a lot of the bad and, mostly good on it, right? I mean, they're a freaking great band. And part of, listen to it, what's the greatest gift of flattery?
Imitation. There you go.
Could be that.
It's true.
Could be that. They may have such an admiration for Zeppelin and those guys that they want to be similar but yet separate. Could be.
You like because you like. Some When the song first started, I thought it was the heaviest song they had. But not heavy as in like chug, 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 but heavy as in weighty. There's a lot of importance on it. Okay? But as it went along, it just really became a riffage, fun song. It didn't. Where it started out really weighty, it became really light. Does that make sense? Like it started out like it's going to be really important, and this is going to be something that's life-changing, and then it just...
Did you hear what it said?
No.
Exactly. So this is a war chant. This is their protest song. They're going against what's being happened to them. So this is the war chant. This is the war song. This is to get you in there. This is the protest song. Just as the video that you just did. What's your point to that? To get people awake. To get people aware. To get people. This is what this song is in their way of how they're doing it. And they lightened it because they wanted you to hear what they're saying to bring you back to, waking you to what the message is. So it's a war chant message all in one. That's what I got out of it. That's why I was like, I wanted to hear what you had to say about that.
Well, it started out, like I said, really heavy. Like there was a lot there.
Yeah, to get you excited about what they're about to tell you,
But then, I don't want to say it almost became a party song, but it was like
It was to get you to hear what they're having to say, what they're trying to say. And now, listen, I didn't hear anything that they said until I read it. I get it, right? And it's all about how your mind takes on almost like a chant, almost being hypnotized, So what the beginning of the song did, it got you aware to saying, hey, what's going on here? And then where it lightened up, now we got to listen to what they have to say and what their meaning is to the song, and that brings you back down, and it ends with getting the chant back in there and pulling you back in. Their songs, they do a lot of that. They bring you in, and then they go over here, and then they bring you back. That's what I'm feeling.
See, this is great because I'm getting a totally new perspective on this. Because normally when I listen to a song, it's the first time through, it's mostly just the music.
Right.
I just want to hear what the music has to say, and if the vocalist, which this guy, he is good. He's really
very good.
If he adds to it, then great. But I'm really wanting to hear, since I'm a guitar player, obviously, I want to hear the guitars, I want to hear the bass, I want to hear any instruments that I can play. I want to hear what they do, and that's what stands out to me the most. So I was not listening to the lyrics, to the words he was singing, although I was listening to the melody.
Right.
And the melody it started out heavy, like we said, but then it lightened up.
Right.
So yeah, and I think we listened differently, but complementary. Where
you do too.
I have told him this, that when he listens to a song, he listens to it with the musician's ear. He's tearing apart, this is the guitar, this is the bass, this is the keyboard, this is the drum, blah, blah,
it's
blah,
true.
blah.
But
it's true.
But most people, when you hear a song, all you hear is the bass beat, plus then what they're saying. You're not hearing every little aspect of it. So our brains are just going, we like it. Michael's is going, well, I didn't like that lick. I didn't like that harmony.
Right.
That's kind of dumb.
No, I totally get you.
Yeah.
And so the message of this song here, and I'm with her, absolutely, because they've been programming us, and I hate to go there, but it's just the cadence of the beat to get you what you're used to hearing, what you can
Shake your ass to.
Shake your ass to. And half the stuff, have you heard about some of the new stuff that Russian, where the lyrics to that song is terrible, but yet people are like doing all kind of, anyway, we're getting off the subject. But to get back to this, the cadence, so what you heard was what you just said, and what I got it, I mean, do what you gotta do, brother, I'm good right there. My take on it is just that it's something where it is I mean, if you're listening to it, it's a statement. That's what they do. I love that about them. They just bring it all back.
very good.
Awesome.
Thank you, Greta Van Fleet.
That's cool. Wow, what an experience. That was an experience.
Totally.
That whole thing. I mean, if you weren't, we definitely weren't ready for this. We were not prepared for this. I don't think we were prepared for this.
I purposely stayed away from this just so we could talk about it and be honest about it, and our responses would be honest.
Well, it's going to be freaking honest now. We got
That's the whole point, right?
more than a bottle of tequila, and it's going to be truth from now. This was an amazing album. Truth Serum.
This last track was really good, and again, it was layered, and there was a lot to it, and it's one of those songs you can't listen to once.
You gotta listen to this a couple times, for sure. 100%.
Because there's so much into it. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many different, as being a guitar guy,
And just a normal guy. She is the culture authority.
Very good.
The current culture authority.
The culture authority. Yes, Sammy. Did you
Nemo.
like that song?
I did that. Actually, that's last
Oh,
one was my favorite one. That
Living
I heard
Color?
tonight, yes.
That was the habit. The favorite one you
That
heard
was my
tonight?
favorite one that I heard tonight. Yes.
Which one?
The last one.
This one?
Yeah.
All right. So may I just go into that? What she's. All right. So we've established we have 3 different 2, 4, 6 ears. When we were listening to one song, and you said you didn't hear any of the lyrics,
Yes.
right? Why do you think that is?
Because he listens like a musician and listens to the music.
Okay.
To
Okay. Fine.
Instruments
I'll-
more than the lyrics.
I will take that as.
I told you, you and I, normal people listen to music and we go boop 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 boop
Right.
boop boop. He goes.
No, okay, wait, but we're gonna pause right there on what I just said. So, and you listen to the music because you want to. Alright, you and I, the music, and then what I read is 2 separate things. And so I get something from when I read it to something when I hear it. I don't know if you get that, but I do.
Yes, totally. Okay, we just went through the double album.
And it only took this much tequila.
Only that much. We made it
And maybe a
through.
couple of these.
We just went through the double album.
And it only took this much tequila.
Only that much. We made
And
it through.
maybe a couple of these.
All right.
Does it get any better? I don't think so.
Let's see. The album, what's the name of the band? Veta Grand Feet. I'm just Veta Grand Feet.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Battle at Garden's Gate is the album.
I picked this album because I liked a couple of their songs. None of these songs were what I've ever heard before. And so this was a lot of songs that I've never heard, and I really enjoyed them. A couple of songs I didn't like. I don't know what's going on over here.
Life is good, man.
What happened?
Life is good.
Would you like to sing?
Yeah.
That was a lot.
I was just asking if I had a lot of tequila because I don't have a lot of experience with
I
tequila.
think that's a lot of tequila.
It looks like a lot of tequila.
Greta
Greta Van Fleet.
Woo!
I was
Feta
saying-
Van Feet. Feta Grand Teat? Is that it? I don't know.
Okay, Greta Van Fleet.
Okay. Greta Van Fleet.
I have to stop. Is not as bad as people say.
He is drunk.
I am drunk.
Okay. So, here is my summary of Van Fleet. I thought they were a great band. It was really cool to listen to it on vinyl. It was really awesome. They did a great job, and I'm very happy that Michael Duckworth is my friend, and we get to do this. So it was pretty dang awesome to have him in my home once again. Love you guys. All right, bye.